On August 8th, 4 Israeli officers from the IDF's Home Front Command traveled to Dallas, Texas, to train local civilians in first emergency response techniques developed right here in Israel. With me in studio are 2 of those officers, well, only one that was there and another who helped organize this trip. We have Major Sivan Inbar and First Lieutenant Abeliovich. Ladies, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
All right, Aya, I want to start with you because you just actually came back from Texas. You were part of the instructors of this program. Tell me a little bit about what you guys were doing there.
We came over to Dallas. We met with the organizers of the trip, and then we taught 3 courses in light search and rescue. One about collapse types, one about how to do light search and rescue, like proper techniques, and then we taught them a little bit about the Home Front Command itself.
So you're teaching them in a collapsed building environment. What exactly are you doing? What are you showing them?
Well, at first it was just presentations, but then afterwards we went to an actual facility with a kind of a collapsed building, and we showed them how to actually go and rescue.
Wow. Isn't it dangerous for them to do these kinds of things?
No, it was very, very light. They only used home tools like car jacks and just when the ones that could just lift it up the elements. It was very basic.
So what was the scenario that you gave them for this specific training?
It was an earthquake.
An earthquake.
In a medical facility.
Wow.
Yes.
All right, so Sivan, this is not the first time a trip like this, a delegation has gone to the U.S. to teach civilians these kinds of things. Tell us about the previous delegations and what size project this is.
Okay, so we're working with EVP. It's an organization, Emergency Volunteer Project. That organization, it's an American and Israeli organization, both sides. We started to work together since November 2017. We sent the first delegation together. And since then, this was the 5th delegation in Dallas, Texas. We're expecting 2 more in 2019 and 6 more in 2019. We work a lot with the EVP organization. It was an organization who stood up in 2007, and it started working with international help to Israel for already 5 times in emergencies. For example, in a protective edge, they sent firefighters. We work a lot together. I think it's a very good project.
Well, bringing the conversation back here to Israel, you mentioned that you're also training civilians in Israel. So I'm curious about what is the difference between what you're teaching civilians in Israel to what you're teaching the civilians in the U.S.?
Okay, the project in Israel, we're teaching them mostly the same, like I said, that we taught them in Dallas. They know basic search and rescue, they know primary extinguish fire, and first medical help. The point is to help them help themselves in time of an earthquake. We taught a lot of civilians here in Israel, which belongs to all kinds of organizations, which if they can be the first responders, they can be governmental offices, local municipalities, whoever they want, they just come to us and we teach them. We started this 6 years ago from the Home Front Command. We're doing it together with Magen David Adom and the fire department. Most of the things we taught them also in Dallas. We added a little bit more things like how to deal with terror attack and a little bit more about medical help.
Well, what is so special about the Israeli techniques? Why is it so important that soldiers from Israel are going to teach their techniques to the U.S.?
First of all, the IDF is very known about his rescue technique all over the world. We work a lot with all kinds of countries. We work a lot with the National Guard, specifically Indiana, about search and rescue. We do lots of researches together. We develop techniques together. And also, when we go with the EVP, we do it a lot, not only to Americans, but also the Jewish community over there. And when you come from Israel to the Jewish community, it looks much different. It's very unique. And it's very important to us to represent Israel in other countries, and as much as it's important to them to see us over there.
Well, Aya, just jumping off of that, what was the community like? How did they receive you? What was the reaction to learning these kinds of techniques?
It was heartwarming. I mean, they were really excited both to meet us, both to learn new things. It was really nice to teach them all.